Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today we are going to do a combination and some info. I am going to do a little scalp oiling. I didn't even have time to take it down, but I was like, let me do it as a part of this. Answer some of your questions. And also I really wanted to get into these top things that should always be included in maintenance. So I like to just give a little minute or two, and then I'm gonna queue up these points, and there are 5 of them. Okay, so now maintenance could look different as far as what you need at that time, but there are some general areas that, especially if you are in a professional setting, what your maintenance should include. Okay, so I'll explain what maintenance is. While I do that, I'm going to shameless plug, but I'm also multitasking. So I'm going to be sealing in moisture, which is something we will talk about. One of the points I'm gonna go over today, as far as maintenance, and it is just it's a natural hair oil that I have. You can also make your own natural hair oil blends, but it is like the only thing that I've used in 15 years. I actually didn't really create it until like year 2 or 3. So I'm gonna do a little light oil of that while I go over these points. Feel free to comment. Let me know you can hear me okay, especially in a Facebook group. Y'all hear me okay? So this is a thing that I like to do. My hair is very prone to be dry, very prone. It's 4C. Someone had asked a question from one of the webinars. Why we always talk about 4C hair? So I'll answer that question real quick. When I don't know where I always said 4C, but I guess in a free webinar. But in this realm of locks of hair, what we used to call bad hair is what I would say the roles are reversed. And there's really no such thing as bad hair. But you know how we would always say loose curls and curly hair was seen as good hair for some of us growing up, and some of us with hair like mine. We had the nappy, the kitchen was always nappy. And so when I crossed over into this realm, it actually is the most conducive to the locking process. It locks very easily. And the things that were once seen as negatives are now, it gives us an advantage. So what I want to, what I do, because I literally just washed it and I touched up some roots, because I have grays coming in, because life has been lifing, y'all, for the past 10 years. And so I'm aging. And so what I like to do is, while it is damp, and I don't need to do this every single time, but I start with my edges, which were the struggle areas all my life. When I used to get braids, I used to tug and pull. So as we go through this point, you'll see me massaging this into my hair. I'm not a believer of using a whole bunch of products. I see some people really struggle with the mentality of all the overusage of products that we had in a natural loose hair realm, or even when your hair was permed, unlocked realm, and come over into the lock realm. And there, I saw somebody, I kid you not, with like 10 products. And she's like, this is my routine. And I was like, whoa, you don't have to do that. And sometimes I talked about it could be kind of counterproductive. So I really am big on sealing in moisture. But let me get to my points. Feel free to ask questions. Good, you can hear. Great. And if you have any comments you want to leave, feel free to ask. All right. So the very first, maintenance is the regular and routine behaviors and actions you need to do to support the hairstyle we have. So it's something that is necessary. Like, you have to maintain your car. We got to go to, we got to eat and breathe and get our health checked out. It's like that, right? But there's some aspects of maintenance that you don't have to do all the time, or that you do as needed, or that are something that you might have to do that's additional. So it is, essentially, we boil it down in our program to the regular routine things you need to do, right? So the points that I'm bringing out are those things. And then I'll drop some points in about some things that are extra. So I always forget to do an intro. Um, Jessica, founder of Naturally Beautiful Hair Care, Microlock Mastery. I celebrated 15 years this year of having my microlocks and nearly 15 years of providing this service in a professional capacity to over hundreds of people, primarily out of Brooklyn, New York. And now I'm in Jersey, but Brooklyn, New York, New Jersey area, but I've seen hundreds, I've directly handled hundreds of heads. So I'm speaking from that professional experience as well as my own journey and process through this time. And no, you know to know, I know I've exclusively said microlocks because I'm incorporating these innovative ways to achieve strength and refinement. And I did a lot of my work, my business, repairing and refining hair. Initially, that were sister locks, but now we have all different types of small locks. So I see a question coming in, but I'm gonna answer it because I'm gonna go into the other points. When sealing in moisture, do you wet your hair with water before the oil? How often should you do this, especially if you aren't fully locked? My hair often feels dry. So first, so it sounds like you just got your locks. You're new in the process. So remember, you're going into a transition phase. There's a lot of shock, believe it or not, that happens to your hair and scalp when you go from being primarily loose natural, with maybe some protective styles here and there, into the all the time locked around, right? So your hair is everything changes. It should. So early on, your beginning process of how you're washing your hair, what products you're using, you really shouldn't be doing a whole lot. First, you have to allow your hair to lock, but also your scalp. This is why I used to tell my clients, it'll go through this phase of, it is like a shock, because what you were doing before with products, whether they were natural or not, it was still coating the skin, it was still absorbing, it still interrupted a balance that could naturally occur. Our skin naturally secretes sebum, it naturally secretes a light oil. Depending on your DNA background, it could be more or less. It also depends. We can get a little scientific with the shape of follicle and everything, but despite that, we're always secreting some oil, and that's natural, whether we are 4C, even if we're 4C. When you starve your scalp, your skin, of high doses of whatever products and things you're using, it will tend to go into some, it does some what I call balancing. It's like recalibrating. It may sound weird, but this is what I've seen and experienced. People who used to have a whole lot of dandruff, a whole lot of problematic issues with their scalp. You can't hear me, y'all. I'm sorry. Out by IG. I'll try to restart. Sorry, they're gonna have to come over here. If y'all engage more in IG, I will be able to do more, but I can't manage the both screens. So if your hair is feeling dry, is likely that I would say most likely if you're patient, things will balance themselves out. But if it's excessive and you have excessive dandruff, you have a lot going on. I've had many clients that way. I'm just going to say from my experience. And then if you need to go to a dermatologist or a specialized person, I would say do that. But what I've noticed, if you're patient enough, if it's not too problematic, is that it will subside. And like 99% of the clients that I've had with flakes, not an extreme that then, someone that needs medication from a dermatologist, but something where it's only a little more on the significant side of flaky scalp. And they noticed where we'd have a black shirt covered in white, less and less dryness, less and less, because there's I believe this beautiful thing that happens when you allow your scalp, which is the largest organ in your body, it is alive. It's constantly shedding, it's replenishing, kind of like a snake, but not that extreme. We're constantly, so it balances itself out. I used to have a lot of dandruff issue. I barely have to put anything on my scalp, but this is rare. Like, I don't use this every day. And so what I have to say is, I'm trying to make it quick, is that if you are applying any type of oil, first of all, make sure that it's not going to disrupt your hair locking, and that is absolutely necessary. But it is to seal in. That's why I'm doing it on wet hair. I don't typically put this on my scalp just bone dry. I mean, could on the scalp occasionally, but it's really it's not moisture. So I think most people well, you have to put moisture with this and then seal it in. So keeping your hair clean is actually great when you seal it in with something like this. You'll find that you won't have to put a lot of product. And how often you do it? As needed. It'll vary. It's cold out. It's dry. I might need to do a little bit more in the summer. I might find I need to do it less if it's humid. Okay, if your hair is feeling dry, a lot of this is the process. It'd be great to become familiar on the locking process prior to doing it. And the locking process extends into years. It's not just the first few months. People still go through a lot of significant transition in their hair locking process, even into year 2, sometimes up to year 4. Depends on a lot of factors. So try to be patient. My mouse is not working. I assume that this is the same person. I said all of that. You'll be a lock to, you still are probably in a real significant locking phases. So I would say, I don't know if you have a professional to consult with or if you DIY, but it would be really great to have some professional eyes lay on it. If you like to talk with me in the sidebar, you can always send me a message and I can chat with you more in depth, looking at you and your hair if you like. All right, so let's get into the first. All right, so regular new growth retain. This is obvious. Y'all know this is obvious. It's gonna sound basic, but I'm gonna get more into this. But this is what maintenance should include, obviously. We're not doing free form one size of this lock this size. So it's a requirement that if you want to keep your locks and keep them strong, that you do some type of maintenance at the roots, so retightening, etc. Especially for this size. I have some things I'm gonna add in. But so that's a given, right? But let's get to the second point. This is probably the most important one. Assessing. So you're assessment of the quality of the lock. So if anyone is in any professional chair and they're only doing number one, like doing retightening of new growth and nothing else, and every time you go, especially early on, you might need to run and find somebody else, because quality assessment is key to what maintenance is. It's the same thing with the car. Your indicator lights are going to come on. You want to check the oil, our bodies. We're going to do checkups to make sure that we're good, to draw some blood here and there. It is imperative if you are focused on strength, lock integrity, all these things I've been talking about for some time now. You have to do an assessment. So it's not flying through just to get the new growth and leaving the ends to do some random thing. It is making sure that you're looking at the entire lock and the scalp. You're assessing the scalp if you notice anything going on, but that's what maintenance should absolutely be a part of. So number 1 and 2 are essential. The third, refinement, right? So whether or not you want them super ultra refined or not, if that's your thing. But again, when you're talking on a micro level, right? Refinement becomes more about strength, and doing repairs is needed to keep that strength. So we're now more dependent on each strand of hair to provide the strength of the lock than we are when they're bigger, which is still important to have strong locks. But when you're dealing with them on this level, it becomes even more important. So I know now many people have all different views and ideas and different size locks and things like that. But I'm really speaking to those people who want their locks to be truly micro-sized, and you want them to be strong. And for me, I like refined hair. So it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but you still have to have a sense of wanting refinement when you're over in this realm, because we don't freeform them this tiny. And it got me thinking about my days living in Brooklyn and seeing the Rastas with all different size freeform locks, which is just nice. But you would see the skinny ones that were freeform, now always hanging off. I would see some like you just like, I just want to pull it lock off. You never do it. But those were the ones that really struggled. There was the skinny ones that just, naturally happen. So I always say refinement in that context. Because now that everything's changed so much in the past 10 years, about what people are seeing and people's journeys and watching DIYers, there's some people saying, well, I want a fluffier look, etc. And I've shown some pictures. I was going to queue up some pictures for this one, but I was like, no, I wanted to focus on my hair. But there's some pictures that are really fluffy. And what I'm noticing is that there are people that actually said that they wanted it like that. Those are my repair clients. So maybe my definition of refinement, I had to make sure I put a disclaimer that you may like it that way, but you gotta think about the sizing that you're intending to have and what's needed to keep that long term. All right, let's go to the fourth point. Oh, grooming is also an optional thing. Again, so you may not want them to be, you may not need to groom them all the time, but grooming could absolutely go hand in hand with strength. If it means that there's loose hairs that you're pulling in. Some people see grooming as, just cleaning up the fuzziness. But we go into the course of the difference between repair and grooming. I put them as two separate items on here, but they all can fall under refinement. The fourth point, regular cleansing routines done properly. So this is your maintenance again, cleansing your hair and scalp of dirt, debris, environmental, etc. But cleansing, I say done properly because we're not co-washing, excuse me, I should have brought a cup of water. We're not slathering a lot of products on. We're not trying to condition in a traditional sense. So you are really truly cleansing. And then so there's a whole way that should be done properly, but that is a part of your maintenance. So, excuse me, you may not need to cleanse as much. Sorry, y'all. I don't know why I'm so burpy. You may not need to cleanse as much. I'm not going to lie. I think me washing my hair today, I hadn't washed it maybe for 3 or 4 weeks before. No, I'm lying. It's probably about 3 weeks almost that my hair had gone without a wash. I could pick it up as I needed, but I keep it so simple. I focus on what the goal is. I don't need to do a lot of extra stuff. Don't get too distracted by flashy things that are not needed. Because what could happen, the soft areas that become less and less strong, the ends unraveling, a lot of things could happen. So we want to make sure that we are cleansing properly. I want to get into the next point. Let me edit this. We have, I believe, 6 points, but some of them go hand in hand. I'm going to fix this one. Getting fixed. Okay. Nourishment, which is one of the things that I use this for, because it has essential oils of herbs that will help stimulate and nourish and feed my scalp. So that's really important. Your hair is like a plant. We, even though it is not technically alive, it's coming from your scalp, which is your skin, which is a breathing organ that is breathing and living. So feeding it what it needs would be helpful. So I believe in natural products, but nourishing helps it strengthen areas. If you have areas that are prone to thinning, whatever. So it's really important that if it is needed, that you are focusing on doing that. And knowing the difference between just using a product for shine and superficial qualities, or using a product that's actually going to be helping your hair, helping you go and be in balance with you hormonally. And the science has proven what many people have been saying for years of being very careful of certain products that are considered carcinogens and actually led to cancer cells, perms and all. But there's other things in other products. And early on in Naturally Beautiful Hair Care, I used to do little talks about, I had a pamphlet going around about watching out for these ingredients. So make sure we want to make our routine actually be nourishing. You'll find that everything else will just balance out and work in harmony and just excel and thrive. Um, there are some things you might be also allergic to, etc. People have had issues with that as well. So just make sure that it is working with you. And the last point, strengthening, adds on to our previous point of refinement. Strengthening as needed. So that also goes into repair for technical things, but strengthening overall. So there's things that have, when we talk about products, when we talk about nourishment, adding on to that can actually strengthen your hair overall. So that's important to be focused on. I think we don't want to stay so superficial with just making sure it looks good in the moment, but we want to make sure that our maintenance routine, so we're going to review everything again, that we are, one, making sure the regular new growth and retightening is a part of it, obviously. Try to keep it as regular as possible. Foundations are really important, that it's good though, because I had issues as well personally in my life where I would go months and months and months, very honest and transparent about times that happen in our lives that we can't keep up, but not having to lose any locks, not having to have my hair completely fall apart was great. So if you cannot, my maintenance was disrupted. So until you get the skills or you have the resources to get it done again, that's why I always emphasize getting the foundation done really well. My number 2 just went. Everything is out of whack. Where's my number 2? I think I deleted it by accident. Shoot. But that was also the quality assessment was number 2. Then you had your refinement, your repair, and grooming. And then you have regular cleansing routines and strengthening as needing and nourishment. All right, so those are things that are needed. But I always say the first 2, repairing and quality assessment, absolutely need to be done. And I noticed that people sometimes will get the install, whether they DIY or they go somewhere, but the biggest struggle would be maintenance and retightening that is going to be conducive to the beauty, health, and strength of their hair, right? So I want to, if you have any questions or comments about anything we talked about, but I want to give, so for those in the Facebook group, also, we have a meeting tonight. I want to make sure that you guys know we're certifying a lot of people for May 1st, and there's different parts of certification. There's a full training, there's certification only, there's retightening. So we are having our meeting tonight. There's some people I'm hearing, I see emails coming through about people wanting to join in. So there's still an opportunity. We're doing shipments now, but tonight at 8 p.m., we're having our community meeting. We are going to go over a lot of things. I'm so excited to get this going. I'm a little sleep deprived, so my energy is like up and down because I was up very, very early, like 4 this morning, packing boxes with the supply kits and everything. But, the goal is for people to have gray hair because it's more than just hair, like I always say. And it's nothing worse than seeing and knowing that people either just giving people access to support, knowing that people may be wanting the support, the knowledge. That's more than just one person's experience of doing it the way, but having professional level knowledge and experience. And so great hair helps you feel good. One of the things that came up in my mind today is we're working on hair as refined as you. Right? So that just came to my mind. We want hair as refined as you. So if your maintenance routine incorporates all those things that we talked about, you'll have no issue. And it should just be like second nature. Like boom, boom. All right, good. Like it's a routine. It's very loving. It's very, I even feel holistic in a sense because you're going deeper than just a moment of it looking great. You're setting it up for it to continue to be beautiful. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 15. I couldn't imagine this past 15 years, not having this experience. And so always want to make sure that you get this information. And I'm really excited about the 20 something people we're about to certify because we're going to be busy. We're actually reviewing a couple of people now. So we're going to make some announcements this week on some people who are being certified in the program. And then we're just so amazed at the people who really want and value, who really value doing good work and touching the heads of others. So I like to have this live opportunity. If you have any questions about anything before I end. But what else? Yeah, so we're having a meeting tonight. Email, AskMe Monday reminders. Yeah, I think that was everything tonight at 8. We start next Monday for the certification group. We're moving in unison together. Normally, it's a go at your pace program. You enroll, when the cart's open, or you get in on a webinar. Don't forget, we do have a free webinar if you're ever interested. If you haven't already taken it, there's a free webinar. I know a lot of people have been taking it. We get the questions coming in, and here you can go to that at the bottom if you'd like to join a free webinar. If you haven't already, we're getting ready. I'm gonna record additional webinars coming soon. And let me see what else I want to share with y'all. Yeah, like I was saying, when it comes to these tiny small locks, I want people to really, I created that lock quiz because I felt like sometimes some things will be a bit more suited if you knew the type of locks. And I'm talking about the type of locks like traditional locks, where you want them small, and I recommend the method of interwoven for this size, or if you want them free form, because I think that, oh gosh, my phone keeps ringing. I think that if it's conducive to you, if it's conducive to your lifestyle, if you're really truly prepared, you will have the best results. I think that sometimes people intend to have it be one way, and then they use a method that's not ideally paired with it, and it ends up being a different size, or it's just it's a different experience than what they expected. Really fully understanding the commitment and what this is going to look like 5 years, 10 years down the line, the level of repair or work you might have to do. It's good. I can't I can't with the phone. So I always wanted to mention that. Yeah, I am tired. All right, guys. I am gonna gear up for tonight. I don't know how I'm gonna push through. At 8 p.m. we have our member meeting. So you want to meet me in the community, our own private community, meet me there. And we're gonna go into the exciting. Remember, if you do sign up for the program, we do have I'm excited improvements on the hair tool. I had a hair tool. It's 10 years this year. I was in because I was pregnant with my daughter, and I created a hair tool that I wanted to address certain things that I talk about in the program. We talk about tool types. And so now we made some revisions. And so people who are already in the program, this is kind of an announcement for later, but if you want to get in the program, you will get the new updated tool. That's why I'm saying it here. So if you are interested in joining or thinking of joining, from this point forward, there'll be a new tool. Some will have the silver. It's going to be the same. It's going to be rose gold now. And it's going to be we were able to get it refined down where the problems that some people said they were experiencing shouldn't happen anymore. I've been testing it and using it, so I'm really excited. It's not on the market in the program, but it might one day be. I think it will be soon. So our program is not exclusive to the tool. Like maybe like Sister Locks or something, they had to use the tool even though they weren't. You had to use their tool and system, but our tool is designed so you don't have to go scrounging for a tool based on the standards that we have for the tightest tension, and the tool was made to support that. but you don't have to use it. If you find something else, I still think that, well, when you talk about open and closed loop, I still stand on what I talk about in the training. So I'm excited about that. So I just want to say that I haven't been telling people that all supplies and everything are always included, unless you are certification only, but you still do get a kit, and you still do get, I'm putting tools in there. So you're just not going to get a mannequin, anything else. So if you want to do the certification only route, if you want to just get certified in retightening, which we do have, retightening and maintenance, some people start there. That's the bulk of the clients anyway. Installations are not your everyday thing. You can have a couple installations, but the vast majority of people's services who do this professionally are doing retightening and maintenance work. So this was just a big general, general points that I think people should, know, but your maintenance could look different, and your maintenance could require something different. Some people don't need much other than a retightening because everything else is going very well. After the install, 1 or 2 sessions, their hair is good to go. They barely need anything. Some people might not need it, but some things happen. And now for that period of time, they do need more support, and it goes back. And there's some people that constantly, a year or two, are still doing, and those are usually the softer, fluffier, curlier. Oh, my nails are a hot mess, and I'm just flicking them around. I was supposed to do my nails. I'm acting like they're done. So, y'all, but yeah, so things vary, but what was I trying to say? Because I'm getting kind of tongue tied. Y'all, let me get off because I'm tired now. All right, y'all. I'll see everyone who is in the Michael Locker Master community tonight at 8. And y'all have a great rest of y'all Monday. Adios.